I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora? Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Today we are talking about 5v5 core teams, which means no Galactic Legends involved. It's for offense and GAC. I'm going to be posting a defense version of this about 3 hours from now, or maybe I'll be flip-flopping, and maybe the defense one will be first. I'm not sure, but that'll be linked in the video description. Be on the lookout for that, folks. And I know that I posted one of these somewhat recently, about 2 weeks ago, maybe a little less than that, and that was to try to make sure that everyone had the opportunity to be farming the right teams and stuff. And the commentary wasn't bad, that it was fine. A lot of the teams are actually very similar, but I have updated it with Omicron strategy, different team comps, switched a couple teams from offense to defense and vice versa, and it's just worth looking at, in my opinion. And we want a more current version of it available for people to see on the channel, because frankly it's going to be good to have that resource. So that being said, folks, we're gonna jump into it. Before we do that, just want to remind you that if you want to support the channel for free, all you've got to do is hit that thumbs up button, or leave a comment in the comments area, or do both. Do something crazy. The comment doesn't have to be anything recognizable, except actually if you don't use English, or at least a language that is identifiable, then it just gets kicked to a chart that I have to go down and approve, and I have to say, oh yeah, this is spam or whatever. And so you guys just spamming random stuff is not always going to be the most conducive. But that being said, you guys have some pretty clever plays on words. I really appreciate it. Just trying to mount the algorithm is all we're trying to do, and we've been doing it, guys. This channel has been growing like crazy. We're going to hit 9K pretty soon, hopefully today, and the math says that if we keep going at about 65 people subs every day, we can, by the end of the new year, hit 10K subs, which would be so fantastic. It would help this channel so much, and that also helps us mount the algorithm. So please tell your brother and sister, or your mom and dad if you live at home, or if you don't live at home and you still have a mom and dad, which many of you do. The vast majority, actually, I don't know how vast it is, or how vast is kind of a funny word, but that being said, I would really appreciate it, guys. If we could get 10K by the end of the year, I would be just over the hill with excitement. I might even yell at you or something like that. Wouldn't you like that? All you gluttons for punishment. First I say vast, and now I'm saying gluttons. Dear Lord. Let's go to the game, shall we? Whoa, why am I in the bottom? Get me to the top, you. Oh, there we go. Nice. Now, we've got, this is more than 11 teams, I believe, folks. So, there's going to be a little crossover between this one and the defense video, but some of these teams are very obviously offense. Some of them can be defense as well. I think that the Commander Luke team this team is maybe the most obvious for offense these days, because we're going to be seeing a lot of teams with Omicrons, frankly. And these Omicrons, among other things, are going to increase a team's speed by a huge amount. And it doesn't matter how fast a character is, though. Han Solo always shoots first, and he's able to dominate them. Now, you'll be able to see the Zam team on defense quite a bit. Zam is going to be adding quite a bit of speed to her team. She's going to be making it really difficult to beat. There's going to be like a Traya team with the Darth Talon character, and there's going to be a General Skywalker's on defense, lots of different teams. Commander Luke counters a ton of them. I'm not going to say all of them, we don't know all of it, but this team is going to just destroy people, as it always has. And on defense, it does get beat by a few different teams, so I really like this team on offense now, especially. So it's actually going to be on the defense thing, on the defense chart, but I do think that on offense makes the most sense for Commander Luke these days, and just because he gains so much turn meter that it doesn't matter how fast or strong the bounty hunters are, this team is just going to WTF pwn them all the way to HE double hockey sticks. Now, we've got General Veers and the Troopers, folks, and this is the best version of the team. Now, sometimes you want that, if you have Colonel Stark, you can swap him out sometimes with Death Trooper, and that kind of works, but I think that in general, Colonel Stark is going to be better. Now, it's going to be a very interesting thing because Piet is going to be your fastest person, and obviously Dark Trooper, you want a lot of relics on and everything, but if you can make Piet really, really fast, then he's going to be faster than the majority of Darth Revan teams, unless they put Darth Talon on there, in which case they're going to have plus 20 speed that isn't something you're used to accounting for, and so keep an eye on that, folks. If they have Darth Talon, it's going to be plus 20 speed, and it's going to begin being extremely difficult to outspeed them. My own Piet is 339. Now, if you add, so he's plus 20, so he's going to be 359. That's pretty quick until you realize that my own Darth Revan, which isn't the fastest out there, but my own Darth Revan is 345, which means I would not outspeed that team. So it's just something to keep in mind, folks. A lot of the new characters are updating old squad's speed in one way or another, and troopers are going to be susceptible to that. It's also, if you're trying to take out a Mon Mothma team and it has Kyle Katarn, this team is also going to struggle a lot, because even if you're really fast, Kyle Katarn's going to jump out with an extra 30% turn meter, and he's pretty quick anyways. Once he's relic, that's going to make troopers a lot less viable against Mon Mothma teams as well. Now, bounty hunters, there's a few different options, and if you have the Omicron on Zam, she's going to make basically every one of your good bounty hunter teams. Now, keep in mind, if you don't have the Omicron, you don't put Zam in here. You put Boba Fett or someone. You could put Dengar if you wanted to. This team, it relies on the core of Bosk, Greef, and Mando. And then beyond that, Fennec is great with Bosk because she helps you get the contract really soon. A lot of you guys watched my stream the other day. There's actually a video also out there that shows that I was testing the Bosk lead team to be able to finish off any Galactic Legend out there. That team, the Relic Bounty Hunter team, is going to counter any cleanup any Galactic Legend out there. So works really well. Fennec is the one who makes it really work. Zam would make it even better because she's giving them all 70 or more speed if you get her up to 300 speed, which is not difficult at all. And she's also handing them an enormous amount of not only just speed, but offense and defense and health, all that stuff. She is really good with her Omicron. Without the Omicron, you need to bench her immediately and not let her do anything. You should just shame her. In fact, she's not good. No, you're not good, Zam. Oh, you have your Omicron? Yeah, you're actually pretty good. But Aura Singh, you want her to be... I'm pretty addicted to this team. You have really good banner recovery. Same with Bosk, but you also have a lot of turn meter gain. You have a lot... you get your contract really fast, and it's just really cool to be able to see this team work. Mando gets his contract really fast and is able to take out someone who he wants, someone at his discretion, as long as he hasn't been killed yet, which if you follow the dictates of the turn meter train, which means Bosk is going to be first, Greef is going to be second, and Bosk will taunt, Greef will call the mass assist, and potentially dispel, and then Bosk will target someone else if you want to, and shoot someone else because he's got frenzy, and between those two, then eventually Mando's going to go, and they're all going to be operating at somewhere around 380 speed because Zam's going to give plus 70 speed. So this team is really cool, and I'm excited for it. We'll see how it goes. There's also the Bosk lead team. Fennec hits 5 times on her basic, and that means that you get the contract real quick. Bosk calls a mass assist, and instantly you get, if you can just target the person who's weakest, you immediately get your contract from Fennec because of those 5 hits. So it's pretty cool. Remember though, Fennec's mass hits do not help against Aura. Or for Aura's contract, Aura is the one who allows you to do her contract based off of turns or moves, not shots total. So all right, next we have Beskar, and this is one that I did update, folks. So Beskar is a really important one. You guys can all mock me for my lack of speed or whatever on him. I think this is a pretty good Bando, actually 276, and especially because he has an offense arrow. He doesn't have any speed. He's plus 130 something anyways, so he's got the offense arrow. All the offense you can get. No crit damage, folks. No crit damage, because all of these meaningful damage is all of it going to be non-crit. It's true damage is what it's called, and so you don't want to put any crit damage on because it doesn't actually contribute any damage whatsoever to the team. You want 6 E-mods for his ship for the most part, unless you want to make him slower than CAD, in which case you start taking mods off and you start questioning why CG is so crazy as to make the turn order for ships the way it is. It makes me sad. But you want him to be the fastest. Once he goes, well, you want him to be the second fastest. You want Quill to be the very fastest. And so what he'll do, he'll go, I've got him at 324 speed. If he can outspeed everyone, then he'll give everyone 25% turn meter. Bando will go into poop stance. IG-11 will go at some point. Nest will go. Both of these will go and do their AoEs, and they're able to do some good work, the Lord's own work. They do their AoEs and they get Beskar extra stacks of Whistling Birds. Then I took Dengar off. I'm gonna try Veteran Smuggler Han here instead. I don't know who's better, frankly, but I want to try my Relic 5 Veteran Han, and he does his AoE as well. Then eventually Beskar goes. He'll have 20 Whistling Birds. He'll kill all the people, pwn the noobs, and I really like this team to take down like separatist teams with Dooku lead and stuff, because Dooku is stealthed and he's behind taunts, and Beskar doesn't care. He just targets past that with his Whistling Birds, and Dooku's like, oh, but I only have 7 health, and Beskar's like, no, you have 0 because you're dead, and it's very dramatic. So next up we have the Mon Mothma team. This is the traditional team versus the Kyle Katarn team. I'm not advocating for using Kyle Katarn at gear 11. I don't think he's going to be that great at gear 11 because he's pretty squishy. The whole team kind of relies on that stat sharing because Pow and Howthorable Scout are not that tanky at all. Kyle is not tanky at all at gear 11. And so once he gets relics, we'll replace Biston, unfortunately, I believe. Maybe we'll replace Kara instead. Not sure. But one thing that if you really, really want to do it, you can make your Kyle Katarn a little bit, you can give him as many speed mods as you can, and then he gains 30% turn meter based off of his unique. And this is all assuming you've updated all the abilities and everything, but he gains 10% for each other rebel fighter ally. He's not one of them that counts, and neither is Mothra, because she can't get her hands dirty, because she's a little bit silly, but I don't know why silly is the right word. But here's the thing, guys. Kyle is good. I don't think he's good at gear 11, really, unless you stack him with a ton of speed so that he can get out in front of everyone. And that means you still have to get him a lot of really good mods, and he doesn't contribute that much. Biston does just fine. This team is just fine. This one cleans up a ton of different Galactic Legends who have, if you fail against a Galactic Legend, nice to have a cleanup squad. It also takes down a ton of other teams as long as there's not Nest in there. Nest is going to mess everything up. Nest messed everything up, as you might imagine is the case, because it rhymes, and that means it's true. So next we have this Maul team, and this team is really interesting. I know that Maul is a lot of times going to go with Lord Vader, but if he's not going to go with Lord Vader, and if you have the armorer available, then you can probably run this team to really good effect. The thing about it is, guys, you need to make sure that your armorer is really quick. The armor is going to be your fastest character, 338. I mean, that's a decent enough speed. I know that some people are running her at like 350 and stuff. The thing is, if she goes first, then she's going to call everyone to assist, And when she calls everyone to assist, then Maul, who starts with Frenzy, is going to take the next turn. He's going to do his thing, probably just do his AoE or whatever, and punt, but then that's going to call everyone to assist. And then Canderous is going to go because he's gained so much turn meter off of the mass assist from Armor and Maul. And once Canderous goes, then Maul, who has Frenzy, is going to go again, and then you start killing everyone indiscriminately. This team is amazing on offense. On defense, it's going to be very playable, very gameable, because if you have a faster character than the Armorer or Maul or whoever you want to use, then then you can just go first and you can negate a lot of the things that this team is going to be doing. And so this team is just really strong and is able to get really great banners against a lot of teams if the armor is fast enough and if turn meter accumulation, turn meter manipulation is actually available on this team. And otherwise, this team is really nice. I really like it. It's one of those weird things. We're starting to see more and more dark side and light side teams out there, like mixed, and this is one of them. This is absolutely one of them. Another one is the exact same team, only with Bando in it instead of like Django. So yay, we found another one, guys. There's so many mixed company teams. But I mean, Star Killer's starting to set that precedent as well, so we'll have that. They're probably going to start making more of those teams, actually, because they want to make territory battles more challenging in whatever the next iteration is. So we'll see how that goes. All right, next up we have Jedi Revan, and this is the team that I use to take out Supreme Leader Kylo. You guys can look that up. That used to work really well in the last edition. Now that, or the last version of Luke, now that Luke got nerfed, he is still able to take down a Supreme Leader Kylo team. It's fairly consistent. You need to make sure you have the right modding, including a ruinously fast old Ben, but this team works really well against Supreme Leader Kylo. It also works really well against like General Grievous teams if you use Bastila lead, because you need a little extra bonus protection and everything. But this team is great. It doesn't have Jolie to revive or anything, but you don't really need it. This team will get really high banners most of the time. It's got good control, and sometimes we're just going to be sticking it with a Galactic Legend, or at least a lot of the characters with a Galactic Legend, in order to help us along the way, just in terms of countering like General Kenobi or even Jedi Master Kenobi, one of the Kenobs, not the old one who you see here though, not the old one. All right, we've got Bad Batch next. Bad Batch wants Omega, guys. People don't want to use Omega. They say, how relevant is Omega? Omega is not necessary, is she? Because they remember all those videos that they've seen of people claiming that this team is a lock. It always beats General Grievous, right? Except it doesn't. It doesn't always. It actually has a fairly high failure rate. So you want a really fast Echo if you can, but then if you can get Omega, your chances to actually succeed against like most teams is going to increase by a dramatic amount, because not only does she do extra damage, she just sits there and plinks away. Like you won't even notice the damage because she's kind of small and she's a lot of times stealthed, but she's assisting all the time. She's doing a lot of true damage, etc. But the thing is, if she isn't on the team, then you have a lot of issues, because Wrecker doesn't get the pre-taunt. He also doesn't get the immediate ability to turn stun everyone, because he starts with 2 stacks per Bad Batch character, and he needs 10, and so with Omega she gets in that 10, and that's good to go. So she's doing extra damage, she's facilitating the protection of your squad by having a pre-taunt on Wrecker, and she's also helping Wrecker be able to stun everyone in addition. Oh, excuse me, I tried to pause it in time. Apologize for that. But she also lets him 2-turn stun everyone, and that also gives everyone defense up. Once you get defense up, you can just go to town. Now, I do have a Faction Essentials video on this team. If you guys want to check it out, you can look it up. Bad Batch, Faction Essentials, Zareth. You should be able to find it. You're good to go. You can find out the turn order and all the different modding and everything. This team is really good. Takes out a ton of different teams, but you have to kind of mod them accurately and do things well if you want to succeed. Now, next up on offense, and this team is more and more an offensive team, because you want want to be able to combat all the turn meter manipulation. General Grievous is a master manipulator, and he manipulates that turn meter really, really well. And what happens is, if you start with this team on offense, then a lot of times the teams that you attack are going to kill Newt if they're faster than you. And once they kill Newt, Grievous goes, he does his AoE, and he's able to then drag the other team into a turn meter contest where he is the master. So this is a great team. I would really like to see him try to take out like Mon Mothma teams with Kyle Katarn. Even if the Katarn team goes first, they're going to probably target Newt, kill Newt, and then Newt doesn't even actually die. Grievous just lolls and pwns them in the face. Can you pwn someone in the face, or do you just pwn them? I'm not sure. Seems like something that would happen to your face, though. Your face, not mine. So we've got Dash Rendar. Rendar. This team isn't good without his Omicron. You can't do it without his Omicron. It doesn't work well. It probably works well if you have him at 7 stars, actually, but if you don't have him at 7 stars, then don't bother. Here, everyone's going to gain prepared. Vander's going to revive everyone until Vander himself is killed. So put lots of health on him. Be real careful when you're attacking, guys. I'm using the squad on offense because I think it's very, very gameable, actually, on defense. People are going to be able to take it down with a lot of different teams. The thing is, L3 is going to pre-taunt. She's going to be taunting a lot because she's going to be refreshing her prepared status all the time. And the thing is, if she does get dispelled for a little bit, then Vander is going to have a little tricky time, especially if they have team mechanics like expose, because he has so much health. He's going to, all it takes is 5 exposes and he dies. It doesn't matter how much extra damage is done, and probably the damage is actually enough to count for at least 1 or 2 exposes, but one way or another, he's really tanky until he's just killed, because exposes or percent health damage really, really wreck him super hard. If you want to maximize this squad, of course, you need the Zetas on basically every single person except for L3, because her Zeta for some reason only works with droids, and it isn't that good of a Zeta anyways, as proven by the Solo movie that we've all seen at least one time, and then Lucasfilm decided not to ever make awesome movies like that again, unfortunately. But Kira especially has a cool little unique leadership, and it's nice to have. The young Han is going to be able to assist every single time, 70% of the time, every time when he goes. So I did put relics on him, relic 5. He's going to ramp damage, and the rest of the team is there to just facilitate for him and slowly ramp L3's health up. Now, next up, we have a revitalized Emperor Palpatine squad with Mara Jade. As you may remember, I was planning on running some kind of a team with Grand Admiral Thrawn and Moff Gideon, in there, and I think that this team is actually going to be really good. With Mara Jade, you put a couple of Zetas on her, and even at gear 11, I think that the team's going to be good. Just give her a lot of protection and speed. She's actually extremely fast. She's one of the fastest characters in the game, and she's going to be able to make this team really spin, even at 3 or 4 stars. I'm really excited to see how Mara Jade does, and I recommend her to you. Now, this is a team that I don't have, that I'm probably not going to be using that much, but we have Qui-Gon Jinn. If he has the Omicron, if he doesn't, then go throw him in the garbage where he's been for a long time, ever since Maul threw him there. And he does good on offense, I guess. He gives everyone a lot of offense. I put Barriss in there just because it's embarrassing to see how little damage she actually does. But I think that the only way to run this team really successfully is you're going to have Jedi Knight Anakin and or Ki-Adi-Mundi. And because the thing is, Ki-Adi-Mundi, if you keep all of them as Galactic Republic Jedi, Ki-Adi-Mundi's cool unique ability is going to act as the unique leadership, which is a really cool thing, because he's not in the lead, he's just uniquely suited to give everyone all these cool buffs. So plus 30 speed, plus max health, plus offense, all the extra damage if you are a healer or support or whatever. And I think that Ki-Adi-Mundi is going to give, so Qui-Gon Jinn gives everyone plus 30 speed. Ki-Adi-Mundi gives everyone else at plus 30 speed, extra offense for everyone. Qui-Gon Jinn gives even more extra offense to everyone. It's going to be a huge mess. Eventually Qui-Gon's going to die, or everyone's going to get hit with an AoE before they win, and so this team is going to get a 57, a 55, or maybe even possibly worse. So this team on offense is probably what you need. On defense, it is this is probably not going to be that greatest of teams. Think of this, guys. If this team, no matter how good it is, it's always going to be able to be two-shot. So as long as you kill Qui-Gon first, then the rest of the team is going to just go nuts and kill you. But then you just snipe out Qui-Gon, and there's not a tank here. There's a lot of characters who aren't going to be able to tank. Anyways, so Qui-Gon goes in, he dies, and then the rest of them are just a hodgepodge, and you can use Ewoks to clean up. Not a big deal. Next are Geos, and I had these guys on defense last time. Offense this time, I do think they're more natural offensive team. Unfortunately, they just don't get great banners anymore. They have aged significantly. A lot of times you want the Brute Alpha for offense in order to help you as just a plug-and-play tank that has a second warm body and a dispel, and I mean, Brute Alpha is a very, very good tank. Don't get me wrong, but I think that this team is also just really good at cleaning up other Galactic Legends who you have failed against, and you need to be able to clean them up. Like Rey, it works out really well on Rey, on Jedi Master Luke, General Kenobi, everyone except for, my guess is that it wouldn't work that well on Lord Vader or Sith Eternal. Those two, even Sith Eternal though, as long as your Poggle is able to ability block him, then you can kind of control the situation a little bit against Sith Eternal. So this does work on offense. Usually we take it on offense, and then it's just going to ride the pine. But otherwise, the last one I want to point out, and this isn't like a transcendent team or anything. You could probably throw Boba here because Zam is replacing him if you have the Omicron. But Stormtrooper Han, lead, or some kind of tank. It doesn't matter if it's Stormtrooper Han, but some kind of tank with Watt. You put the weapon or the armor tech on Han, and then you put the weapons tech on Wampa, and then Wampa ignores, well, it doesn't ignore defense, ignores life. It ignores people who are able to revive, so it takes out people who can revive. You can also give the extra health to Droideka or to Boba or whatever, and Boba is also able to execute people. Droideka does a huge amount of damage as well. This team is really good banners, and if you have Watt available, it works. If you don't have Watt available to assign the taunt to a tank, then this team probably just falls apart real quick. You need Watt. He is a linchpin character, and you need him for this squad, and usually you're just going to use him in conjunction with another team, but sometimes weird things happen. You use armor as a counter to something, or something like that, instead of Watt, and then Watt is able to jump in and is able to make a weird team like this, which you never know when you need a weird new team. That being said, folks, I think this is it for the offensive list. We're going to talk about the defensive list in a little bit. So thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zereth prevails.